Rosenholz, Prince of Greece, welcomes you to another great video by Old Crow's Classic Cars. This video I'll be showing you guys some repairs that I've done on the plasma cutter. It's the Herocut 45i. I've done a review on it some years ago, and it still works great, but there are a few flaws with it, some errors. Like most anything modern, there's just garbage parts here and there, but overall it's a good machine, and for the price and how long it's last, I'd definitely buy it again if I had to. It's originally I paid, I can't remember exactly how much it was. I think it was $130 if I'm not mistaken, but I know it was below 200. And well, you can't get a plasma cutter, at least where I am, like around here locally. You can't get a 220 volt plasma cutter, even a 110 volt plasma cutter, for under $600. So most of them are actually like $1,000 or $900. Then with taxes it goes to over $1,000. And so this was a good buy, and it does come with a torch, so that's another thing to consider. Some places they'll sell you the plasma cutter, then you'll have to buy the torch. You have to buy this, you'll have to buy that. This already comes with pretty much the whole thing. And so what happened was, one of the first problems that I had, probably the first few days of use, was the wire, the switch wire. So on this machine here, there's a button here, and this is a very good torch, by the way. As you can see, I've stepped on it. It's been in the ice, in the snow, in the winter, in the rain, in the summer, and it's, as you can see, it's still intact. It's got a bit of a swivel base on it, but the switch here is just a simple switch, two wires coming from it, and it runs here. As you can see, this here, it's a pretty thick cable now. Well, that's not how it used to be. You just have the two flimsy little wires. There they are. Those ones are I actually replaced. So give me a few minutes and I'll explain everything. But they just used to go into here, and there used to be a little 2-pin socket here, and you could disconnect it almost like a normal 110 volt socket with the 2 pins. I don't know if you guys have ever seen one of those, but it used to be a really small little thing, and of course just a really shitty little connection. And first few days it already twisted the wire and came loose. And so what I did back then is, instead of, I just bypassed it, just removed that socket, and I just connected the wire directly there to the to its terminal there. There's a terminal there. I'm sure I won't be able to get this thing off. It's that little white terminal there. Where'd it go? That one there. Just under that big round thing there full of wires. That little white connector there. So, I mean, it's just a matter of following the wires, right? There it is. And so I just connected there, but of course, if you were to pull this by accident, you just rip it off of there, and if that breaks in there, then you'd have to try to remove this whole thing, solder it, and that would have been a nightmare. I did leave it like that because I'm a careful guy. I take good care of my tools, but I do like them as strong as they can be. So anyways, so what happened this time, that lasted a while, but you wouldn't want to count on it. So what I actually did is, first of all, I had to splice it here and put some more wire in, because I had to join, when I cut the little socket off, I had to join the wire, so it ended up being too short to go there. And I had to cut it again today so that I can add this big thick fuel line here. And I like doing that to power cords on my tools because it just provides a much stronger and much more durable just like protection for the wires. If you just have two thin little wires here, they'll probably get damaged, cut, whatever, pretty soon. And with this thing, with this big thick connector, it allows me to use a 1/2-inch hose clamp or electrical clamp there directly. And see, it says switch there. That's what it used to be. So that's what I've done. I just put a standard electrical clamp holder, whatever it's called. You can sort of see it down there. And it was a little bit too big for this pipe alone, so I just put another fuel line, sorry, heater. That's actually a heater hose. That's what it's called. Just a rubber pipe around it. And now you can literally hold this upside down like that. And you see, it's not forcing the wire. It's actually forcing, it's the weight is being held on by the hose, the fuel line. So if you did that with those little flimsy wires, it would just rip out. So as you can see, this is now a proper job. See that? This is a proper job, and I doubt that I'll ever have to replace or fix this. So the second thing that I did, that's alright, so that's the first problem that I solved. The other problem that I had was this machine came with a little water separator, an inline water separator. And you guys will have to give me a second so that I get you that, because I forgot it over there. Sorry, I just forgot that over there. There it is. And of course, it has that material there that I don't even like to say the name of it because it's a cursed name. And of course, it just sort of rips out. Like, it might seem that it's good now, but you just thread it and it won't hold because it's that stupid material there. Guys, if you've watched my videos before, you know what I'm talking about. So there it is. But anyways, I just kept using it like that. The unit itself is pretty nice. Nice brass mesh there. And you can empty out the water. Just pull this down. And but what happened was this other shitty little connector here. Watch this. It just broke off like that. As you can see, there's a little crack in it there. This piece of garbage, This goddamn material. I hate whoever invented it. Whoever invented this garbage will have a special place in hell reserved. They already got the passport stamped on it. Destination hell. Whoever sells this garbage too. So as you can see, it broke off. It was just a little bit. You see, it's just tiny. Like this part is nice brass, but you see, it only goes into the to this connector, pipe connector thing here, only a little bit. So obviously, it adds up. If this thing is not secured properly, then it just moves around and causes this to break, and that's exactly what happened. If you can try to postpone the problem, it's not going to solve it, but it will postpone it by just putting some sort of glue or some sort of sealant on here so that this is nice and tight and there's no force on this. But it's just my motto is just 100% is not enough. So if that stuff is like that, it's going to break eventually. It's just a matter of time. You can put glue on it, you can do whatever, it's just going to break. You might postpone the problem, but you won't solve it. So what I've actually done here is I've actually solved it. Pardon me. And so this thing broke off, right? Like I said. And so these two hoses here. One used to go to the your pressure gauge there, which used to be there, where I have this massive electrical clamp now, right? And the other hose used to go from here. One of them just went from here directly to the line there. It used to go in like that. And the other one used to come from down here. And that used to go to the to the actual torch gun. Very simple. Just goes through a some sort of regulator here. And as you can see here they did a really nice job, guys. I mean, congratulations to the Chinese. You put a lot of, North American machines to shame. And I guess because people had such bad image about Chinese products for so long, I guess they sort of decided to, they have to make their products cheaper and at least the same quality to be able to compete with us here. But you see, that's really nice. Nice brass connection here. Very strong, very sturdy, very big. Up to here as well. Quick disconnect here. It's pretty interesting. But then here, nice as well. Nice brass. Very durable. This is going to stay there forever. And then here, things start to get shitty. The little pieces of garbage. That material that starts with a P. It's no better than P. But this thing, you just press on it here and you can take the hose out, and you don't have to press it. You just push the hose back in if you want to go back in. So there you have it. But yeah, as you can see, wherever they're moving, they won't last. Here it's not too bad. I'm just going to leave it because there's not going to be any movement in here at all. So it pains me to say, it pains me to leave it. I'd rather replace it by something brass or stainless, but it'll be all right here. So I'm a fairly reasonable guy as well. So what I've done is I had to figure out a way to connect this stupid little pipe as well. It's not flexible, so that's the bad part about it. These little red pipes are fairly stiff. And so I had to somehow connect that to that 1/4 inch NPT fitting for the air compressor. So I played around with some different options. What you could do is you could use this fitting here from the gauge here. See, converts it to it takes it from pipe to a brass thread. So basically a little adapter or converter. But I didn't have any fittings that would fit that because they're pretty small. And so what I ended up doing is fuel lines to the rescue again. I got this fuel line and pushed it into the pipe here as far as I could. And it's probably like that much in. You guys got to remember that. Some people, they'll just like put it in that much. Then it's very easy to just yank it off or for air to escape. But the longer you put it into a pipe, into another pipe, as gay as that may sound, as much as you put it in, then the harder it is for the air to escape. And you're able to do what I did here, 2 clamps, and then probably even wouldn't need that. It probably would just stay here, by its pressure alone. Once again, I pushed it in as far along as I could. Sometimes you might need to add a little bit of oil, but not in this case. This is just a standard fuel line hose. There it is, 5/16 inner diameter. And then once again, the most important part of the job is securing this somehow, getting this secured. Right, and then here I just have a nice brass NPT, once again from eBay, from China. Once again, these things, if you go to Home Depot, these things are, oh man, they're a fortune. In some places they don't even have them. They just have like the regular galvanized steel ones that rust. These are really nice brass, and they're very thick, very solid, sturdy. And once again, congratulations to Chinese. Whoever made them, really. There's a lot of Chinese junk, just as well as any other country. So, I'm just trying to point out that there's no. You don't have to. I don't like discriminating people. So stuff from China, whoever it is, I just look at the quality. Don't care who made it, as long as it's good. So, what I've done is, I had this pretty big electrical hose clamp as well lying around. Fortunately, it's pretty big. I think it must be. I have nothing to measure it with. But lucky enough, finally I had a little bit of luck. I had lots of bad luck and lots of things, but this was really lucky and just fit in here to the where the gauge used to go. So, perfect. I had to put another big pipe around it because it was too big to be able to clamp this little pipe. But putting the other pipe around it, pardon me, what the hell is wrong with my throat? I've got the coronavirus, oh my god. Anyways, no I don't. But not that I'd care, like, I still do the videos if I had it. Sorry, moving forward. So yeah, once again, as you can see, it's pushing on. Now, if I force this, it's going to transfer the force to the whole box and not to the little pipe here. And pretty quick, pretty fast, very convenient. This is going to last. Once again, I'll never have to fix this again. So there you have it. So in summary, what I've done is reinforced. Put a fuel line, rubber hose, whatever you want to put around the switch. Clamped it onto the case of the machine, the housing, the steel housing. This is steel, by the way. Clamped it on there, secured it. This here, there's no need to do it because it's fairly sturdy already. Done the same thing here. Clamped it, put a hose around it, clamped it to the housing of the machine, and that's pretty much it. I haven't had any problems with this machine, apart from what I've told you. It's just pretty much a hardware problem, like hoses and connections. No problems with the electronics so far. As you can see, these IGBT inverter something technology. It's got lots of little electronic fittings on it, but they've worked fine until now. They've been through a lot, trust me. Those nice big heat sinks there. It's all I can tell, and as long as I've had it, it's a very well built machine. Congratulations to whoever made the Herocut 45i. And ideally I would have liked to put this here in the back here on this hole so that I'd keep the little gauge there. But unfortunately I didn't have any fitting that would, any of these fittings here, electrical clamps that would fit here, so we had to go there. And no big deal, because this gauge here I already have one on the line itself, on the compressor hose, so it's not really necessary to have another one here, but it is helpful. Sorry, I take it back, I guess. It was helpful because once you set this on the machine, the pressure on here, then it should just regulate. Sorry, it's nothing to do with the gauge. Sorry, I'm just a little bit tired. You'd regulate the pressure here. So, yeah, the fuel gauge, once again, it doesn't really matter because I already have one on the line. I mean, if one day I want to install it, I'll just install like a tiny one here or whatever. But I have one on the line already, coming from the compressor, so didn't really need that one. Couldn't be bothered to go out looking for an electrical fitting that would fit that. So I had this in hand, and I try to use whatever I have, especially if I've had this for years and it was just lying around. I don't even remember where I got this from. Probably found it in the garbage of some construction site or something like that. So thought it was free, and I'd just rather use what I have than buying more stuff. So I just went with that. And alright, I think that's pretty much it. Went through everything. If you do need the exact dimensions for you to do this, then just leave a comment on the video, and I'll get you the dimensions. But actually, I don't think you'd need that, because you're gonna have to do this anyways. Trust me, you are gonna have to do this. So, but I guess if you do need like the dimensions that you can buy or find this stuff, beforehand, then yeah, just put the comment and I'll get you the dimensions of it. I know that one's a 1/2 inch. I think it says there. I wonder if it says it on there. Oh yeah, there you go. 1/2 inch. Zoom in. Just wait for this thing to zoom in. There you go. Very slowly but surely. There you go. 1/2 inch. So that one's a 1/2 inch. And this one doesn't say what it is. I think it's a 1 inch, because a 3/4 was too small for it. So there's half of the information you need. Once again, good machine. Just gotta fix some of the small defects, some of the defects it has. It was well worth it, even with the defects. Certainly worth it. I would not have bought another machine for this price anywhere around here. And even if I did pay, the $1,000 for their machines, it still would have had same problems or even worse. So I'm really happy with it. It served me well for, like I said, for quite a few years now. I think we're on to 4 years now, if I'm not mistaken. No. I think I'm exaggerating. I think 3 years, but it seems to be working fine. It works fine. It seems that it's gonna keep working fine. So you can sort of tell when something is gonna go bad. It doesn't usually just happen out of nothing, you like a big surprise. Usually you can tell. If you're careful, you can tell when shit's about to hit the fan. But this did take me a while. You gotta look for the fittings. You gotta get the hose clamps. You gotta have the hose. You gotta take these things off, screws off. And get these fittings here too, and get the threads right. And so it's not something nice. I don't like doing these things, but I'm happy with the repairs, and it's gonna be done. It has been done to my approval, which means it will only be done once. And once again, you can now pull the machine from here, from anywhere, any one of the clamps or hoses, any one of the hoses or fittings, and the machine is strong. I don't know about that though. You see, it's got that material there that I hate, despisable material. Which once again, congratulations on China for banning this garbage. So I don't know how long that is gonna last, but well, when that breaks, then we'll fix it. I like to fix things before they break, but if I actually do everything that I try to do, everything that I want, and fix everything that I want to fix, and leave things, upgrade things to my standard, then I'm never gonna get any work done on the car. So I have to sort of balance that with wait for stuff to break before I fix it, sort of thing. But yeah, I think I talked enough. There you go. You're welcome.